On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. It has obviously been a busy few days, and it's just getting busier. Got a lot of crazy going on. A lot of discussions around the Secret Service and how they handled things, who's maybe to blame. I've got a number of people that are going to be chiming in on that. Jesse Waters is doing some great work apparently last night because he had all sorts of people on. We're going to be covering a bunch of them. Also, just kind of the general gist of how we're kind of moving through this. The way it's affecting us, the way it's impacting us, the way it's bringing people together. It's kind of trippy right now. It's kind of trippy. It's, the Republican National Convention is supposed to start tonight. Trump is supposed to announce who his VP pick is. Kind of let Brett Baer know that may not be someone that people have been talking about in the media. I'm kind of wondering. I think it's Ben Carson. That's still my thought, but I have no idea. I have zero idea, and could very easily be wrong. That's just the hunch I've got right now, but we'll see. John Rich put this out. Said oddly, no riots, no looting, no destruction in Pennsylvania or anywhere else today by Trump supporters. This is the difference between the two sides. Reverse the situation and tell me what would be happening right now, right? If something like this would have happened to Biden, they'd probably be out there rioting in the streets. But they didn't. It's not how we roll, even though they keep trying to say we're the violent ones. Huntsman put this out. If Trump doesn't open his next speech with, "My fellow Americans, lend me your ear," I will be sorely disappointed. I thought it was pretty, I think it was even better than my joke where I was saying, I was thinking of getting my ear pierced. I don't know. I guess I got it chosen for me, right? Like, I don't know. I'm still working on the joke. It's not very funny. I think his joke is much funnier. I wanted to give him points. Good job, Huntsman. Far more humorous man than myself. Dan Scavino posted this. After the assassination attempt and everything he went through in the hours thereafter, he lifted the morale and spirits of everyone around him at the hospital and on the plane ride back to New Jersey. He wanted to make sure his team was okay. A leader throughout it all. Truly remarkable. There is literally nobody like him, and there never will be again. Let him get back to the White House, America. And again, I don't know how else you could make him more popular. Impossible. Now, for a lot of people that totally think this is a scripted movie and these are all actors, I don't know. I'm kind of curious how the gunshot works into that. I guess it could have been blood and makeup and everything else. I hear there's a rumor, and I don't know, that he's actually got a little piece of his ear missing. So would he have cut his ear off to be an actor? I don't know. I kind of wonder. I think it's an act. I think it's a movie, but I just don't think it's literally scripted out like most people think. I think it's more of a God's putting a movie on for us kind of thing than the other way around. Whatever the case is. I know a lot of people disagree with me. Some agree. Donald Trump put this out. Unite America. And it seems that kind of is happening. Here's a kind of cool example in New York, of all places. Not huge or anything, but quite a bit of support, like the cars driving by. So, again, we are definitely uniting. Now, here is a dark-skinned comedian that's going to use the N-word a bunch, so if you get offended easily, probably isn't a good segment for you. But I think it's funny. I think it's telling of where we're at, and I love this kind of stuff. So here's a great example of people waking up.
I seen the president, the nigga that's running, Trump. He got shot, dog. They shot him. This nigga done been shot, this nigga done went to jail, he done scammed people. And this nigga my uncle? Who the fuck? Who the hell? He's black, he's officially black now, bro. That's beautiful. They shot him, he was like, yeah, I'm having a fight. He was fine, he was doing like this and walked out with an American flag on him. Like this. He put one of these, like, I'm a real nigga, fuck nigga, I'm out of here. That's hard, bro. I wasn't even finna vote. I'm voting now, dog. He got it. He won. I wasn't even finna vote. I had no skin in the game. I like, that nigga got shot, he won. Fuck the bullshit. He had real ops, nigga. What the fuck? Joe Biden's biggest op is the stairs. That's it. He had real ops. Somebody really tried to, listen, that's how you know he a real nigga, bro. Joe Biden has been trying to kill himself his whole presidency. So nobody had to kill this nigga. Nobody had to try to kill it. Trump been just ready to go his whole time. And like, we gotta fucking off his ass. And missed. And just skipped his ear and missed. That's crazy, bro. Hey, Mexican nigga, you fuck with Trump? Yeah? Hell yeah, that was good. Huh? You say amen? He not God, nigga, what the fuck? That was crazy.
He's not God, and we got to remember that because we on this planet have a habit of deifying anybody that is amazing and starts to become larger than life. So we got to remember he is a human just like the rest of us, but a very significant one. That much is sure. And a lot of you guys also matter big time in this game. Here's singer Cody Johnson giving his impassioned message after the shooting. I believe it was 30 minutes after or something, but kind of cool what he was doing.
30 minutes before I went on stage, there was an attempted assassination on former President Trump. Here's what I've got to say about it. Here's what I've got to say about it, and I hope you'll hear me out. I mean, it's my microphone. I can say what I want to, right? The fact that any American citizen would think that what they did today would solve a problem in this country is absolutely disgusting. You want to solve a problem in this country? On election day, go in there and vote for who you want. You know why? Because before most of you were born, an American soldier died for you to have the right to disagree with somebody else in this country. I'm tired of the hatred. I'm tired of the division. I'm tired of people talking about Trump and Biden. Let me tell you something. There's people in this crowd that agree with Trump. There's people in this crowd that agree with Biden. Guess what? That is your God-given American right to believe whatever you want. That right was bought with sacrifice.
I wish more people remembered that. You know, people aren't enemies just because they disagree with you. We used to disagree with people all the time. It was fun. It was actually enjoyable to have conversations with people you disagreed. They didn't get out of hand. They didn't get crazy. They didn't start name calling. But politics got dripped into everything, and that's really what happened. Politics was kind of always one of those taboo topics, religion, politics, and I forget what the other one is. All right, sex maybe, whatever. These things you shouldn't talk about. But politics got dripped into everything, so everything became political. It got to a point where we couldn't talk about anything anymore. Have you noticed that? It's kind of amazing that everything is political these days. Now, there is a point here where it looks like, and we've got a fun little spoof coming after, but it looks like Biden almost said, "Make America great again." Can you imagine? He already called Zelensky Putin. Probably arguably the worst thing he's actually probably said publicly, especially when you just take in timing into consideration. Can you imagine if he would have said, "Make America great again"? You tell me if it sounded like he was planning on saying it. I think he did. I think he was.
You know, we're blessed to live in the greatest country on earth, and I believe that with every soul, every power of my being. So tonight, I'm asking every American to recommit, to make America, think about it. What's made America so special? Here in America, everyone must be treated with dignity and respect. You know, we're blessed to live in the greatest country on earth, and I believe that with every soul, every power of my being.
Every soul, every power of my being. Did he just read those lines backwards or something? He's reading a teleprompter. And then again, what did they write on there for him to almost say, "Make America great again"? I would love to have seen this, unless he was literally trying to go off the cuff here, in which case he probably shouldn't do that. But here's sort of the parody one of it anyways, or the Trump finishing his statement for him, which is funny as hell.
So tonight, I'm asking every American to recommit, to make America great again.
Damn straight. Making America great again. Clint Russell put this out. You know, the country is in rough shape when there's an assassination attempt, and the only real debate is to whether or not the government was in on it, or are they just so fucking awful at even the most basic tasks that we can no longer tell the difference. I'm curious what your thoughts are. Guys, throw that in the comments below. Do you think they're literally inept, or do you think this was intentional? What do you guys feel on it? I kind of think we'll get into it. I think we're going to lead you in a direction overall, but it'd be fun to see where you're sitting right now, and we'll see if you change your mind later on. Also, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Makes a huge difference. The thumbs up especially makes a giant difference in how many people they show this to, and so that is one of the easiest things you can do to help the channel. Just remember to do that. Here's the song. It's the dude, the tattoo face guy everybody loves. I forget his name. Chris McDonald or Daniel, or I mean, you guys love him. He's super popular in the community. I have a hard time with his tattoos. I'll be honest. I'm being honest. He has tattoos on his face. It's like my mind has a really hard time with people that put tattoos on their face. All said, beautiful rapper, great music. People seem to really, really like him. He's resonating. And sometimes not looking like everybody else is actually the best thing. So I acknowledge my biases in this particular case. But I like this song. This song's very good. And I wanted to share it with you. It's only a couple minutes. Check it out.
They burning the country down with their progressiveness. It started with changing what gender is, then graduated to you're racist if you think that your life matters and your skin don't have melanin. They don't want peace, they want skeletons. They want men to pretend that they're feminine. They don't want an election, they got so offended by freedom that they just try killing the president. I used to think that the woke were misguided, but now I can see that they're evil. Twitter is angry that Trump isn't dead. You know who got shot? Innocent people. Thought y'all were tolerant, thought we were equals. I thought you valued how everyone feels. Then why are y'all celebrating an attempted assassination like you're part of Antifa? Thank God the left can't aim. Thank God the right don't riot. Welcome to the home of the brave. Freedom ain't afraid of violence. You wish you was dying? Bitch, you missed. Thank God the left can't aim. Why can't we just shoot straight? Y'all are going insane. Bitch, you missed. There's no one else you can blame. Tried to lock him up in a cage. Now you trying to kill what you hate. Bitch, you missed. Told us trust the science, but it never made sense to me. Why would we put all our trust in the enemy? Millions of people are hooked on amphetamines. They're making billions on untested remedies. Borders are open to people with felonies. Biden can't stop them, he don't have the energy. Y'all wanna kill the man trying to fight for a better tomorrow by making him Kennedy? I tried to give y'all a chance, like maybe the left isn't nuts. I was wrong, cause y'all are exactly as crazy as every conservative person I know said you were all along. Wanna protest? Go hard. Wanna burn flags? Go off. But y'all are so triggered that you're pulling triggers at presidents. Y'all the terrorists when you're armed. Thank God the left can't aim. Thank God the right don't riot. Welcome to the home of the brave. Freedom ain't afraid of violence. You wish you was dying? Bitch, you missed. Thank God the left can't aim. Why can't we just shoot straight? Y'all are going insane. Bitch, you missed. There's no one else you can blame. Tried to lock him up in a cage. Now you trying to kill what you hate. Bitch, you missed.
I was actually afraid. Tom McDonald, there it is. I was actually afraid that was not gonna. It was gonna cut off in a weird place. On Twitter or X, follow him at I am Tom McDonald. It's MacDonald, like the black people say for the restaurant. Even though that's not actually how you pronounce that. Funny as hell. So we are at a funny place, and a lot of people think that God intervened, and he definitely did. But really, what this demonstrates, and this is it's like the stuff I talk with Alpha on the Synchronicity channel, but this is really, there's more of us that love him than hate him. If the number of people that hated him surpassed the number that loved him, that bullet would have sank. Donald Trump's timing wouldn't have been perfect. Ivanka Trump wouldn't have been involved. God wouldn't have been involved. Whoever it was that was involved that helped Trump turn at the exact second. Again, timing's everything. Timing's everything. When you drop something, you got to pick it up. Suddenly a bullet goes whizzing by. Things happen. God works in mysterious ways. We have guardian angels. There's so many stories that we've created to explain these types of moments, right? People talk about it all the time. One thing we don't necessarily, well, we kind of do. I don't know. I'd like to think of Goldco's our guardian angel when it comes to our finances. If you're in a 401k or an IRA, you're tapped into their system. You're actually looking at buying power being reduced on a regular basis. You see your money going up, but the buying power of that money is going down, and it's going down actually faster than your price going up. Funny thing, gold hasn't done that. The price of gold's actually gone up to the point where its value is increasing, meaning I could buy $2,000 worth of stuff at the beginning, and then now I can actually buy a little more than what I could have bought back then. It actually increases your buying power. Maybe it's worth 2,300, 2,400, whatever the case is, it's up in buying power. Bitcoin is also much higher. And if you want to play around in that market, cool. I don't think you can transfer your 401k or IRA into a Bitcoin thing. If they ever do that, that'll be frightening because people will do it, but it's okay. One thing that's awesome about precious metals and the precious metals IRA is it's literally physical metal. You're literally investing in something that's real, not something that's ones and zeros and fake, but actually something that's real, has intrinsic value. A value can be used for manufacturing, tooling. It can be done for all sorts of things. Gold's a very awesome thing too. It doesn't oxidize. When it comes to like connectors for like electronics and stuff, gold's pretty fantastic. And silver is used in electronic solar, the voltaics, the solar panels. The silver is used to make those. So think about how much of that's going to be happening over the next number of years, right? To try to offset some of the power issues that we have. These things are great investments. Get out of their system. Get out of their system. If Trump would have died, think about what would have happened to the stock market. Probably would have tanked because anybody that's anybody realizes Trump's our best bet. And if we don't actually get a chance to get him in, yeah, there's no way. Now, whether or not the system can stay afloat that long, we'll see. We don't know. There's no crystal balls. I got a magic 8 ball, but it's not always right. I've checked. It's been wrong a few times. It's very unfortunate. It says right on the box, but whatever. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Get out of their system while you can, while you're sitting at the top of your game. And take that wealth with you plus some. You're going to be able to invest back into the new system at some point, whatever it is, or we're going to finally get our stuff figured out and our economy's finally going to chill. And then at that point, you can offload your precious metals if you'd like to get back into the currency game. But it's your way to protect your wealth, what you've been like saving forever. Don't let them take it in one night, one bad week. Don't let them take it from you. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of their system. Tax-free, penalty-free. If you've got an IRA or a 401k, either one of those, get into a precious metals IRA. Get your kit, learn about it. There's 4 data points they want. They're going to reach out to you reasonably quickly and try to see if they can help you. There's a lot of ways they can, too. If you're sitting on a lot of cash right now, you could actually qualify up to $8,000 of free silver just by divesting some of that cash that's losing value every day. What, 25 grand? You're sitting on a few $100,000. You got maybe $1 million in the bank or something crazy, and you've got it in some little stock that's getting 3%, or not stock, but special account. You're getting 3%, 4%. You could be doing about 40, 45% is what gold's been performing at, and it's going up and up and up. So cash right now may not be good to leave as cash. Again, you're going to get a chance at free silver. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. I'm also a customer. They were amazing. They shipped it straight to me. It was as easy as it could possibly be. Easy. It actually finished all my stuff in one day, and I got a shipping confirmation, I think the following day or something to that effect. It was incredibly quick. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. You have a bunch of questions. Ask them. They love that. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of their system. Let my good friends at Goldco help you. You can do it pretty quickly. And frankly, folks, I don't know how much time we've got. I feel like we're down to days and weeks, if anything. But when you see the assassination attempts, you start to wonder, where will they stop? Where won't they stop? And how bad is things really getting for them to have to do something publicly like that? Something to consider. White House releases photo of President Biden, VP Harris in the White House Situation Room this morning. This was, I think, yesterday morning. Jeez. And so, yes, they're hanging out, talking about all this, right? Getting the lowdown. Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, Vice President didn't flip it, are receiving an updated briefing from the Trump rally shooting. So they're trying to play it up on their side. Like, no, man, we're seriously doing stuff. We weren't behind this, I swear. There's Mayorkas, who's been impeached. I think Cheadle's supposed to be in there somewhere. We'll see. Biden saying I've directed an independent review, which, makes me feel real good. But anyway, check it out.
And third, I've directed an independent review of the national security at yesterday's rally to assess exactly what happened. And we'll share the results of that independent review with the American people as well.
Now, here's the thing. Reviews are fun and fantastic and wonderful and groovy. If they're done by the people that committed the crime, you obviously know you're never going to catch anybody, or they're going to frame somebody, or they're going to make some shit up. They're going to blame Russia, would be the most likely situation, right? The dude spoke Russian. He's up there speaking Russian. He's like, I have a video of him. He sounded Russian to me. Like, they're going to make some shit up. CIA was likely involved in it. Again, deep state, a.k.a. deep state. And so, do you want them to create, another Warren Commission? Because they didn't figure shit out, did they? I mean, they kind of opened some stuff up. The lawyer, if that movie, John F. or JFK, was actually even remotely close, Kevin Costner, that party, it was just a great movie. That's actually one of the big moments where I, that to me, that trampolined me into awakeness. I mean, I was already aware that everybody was weird and lying and shit, but it started to make sense at that point how deep this goes and how they lie about everything. And that's what led me. That was really that when that movie came out, it was whoa. Maybe some could say it was my awakening moment, but I remember back when I was 9 and stuff, tripping on people. So I don't think so. I don't know. Whatever the case is, doesn't matter. We all wake up when we wake up, and that's the time you woke, right? Early riser, not early riser, doesn't matter. But an investigation, who's going to figure this out? I mean, how do we know we can trust the people? We've seen a lot of change. I mean, you got Hawley, you've got Gates, you've got some of these Jordan, you've got Comer, you've got some Johnson, you've got some really good names of people that seem. Rand Paul, got great people, a few that we could trust, I think, maybe. But are they able to do what's possible, right? Are they going to get arrested or something? Now, we've got some great Trump news, by the way. That's coming up. But Ezra Cohn posted this. Elements of the FBI with corrupt and political motives have targeted and harassed President Trump for the better part of 8 years. How is it possible this agency, which has had a strong appearance of conflict, is now allowed to lead the investigation into an attack like this? If we have learned anything from the assassination of President Kennedy, it is that we must have a transparent and independent investigation for the good of our country. Less than 24 hours after the attack on President Trump, it is clear that we are headed in the wrong direction. Unfortunately, due to the recent behavior of a significant number of its employees, the FBI is no longer viewed by the public as a trustworthy and independent investigative body. For the sake of the country, we must bring in an agency to investigate that has the public trust. Which, Space Force? I don't know, because you can't. It's military. Posse Comitatus, right? I don't know. And he continued, if we have learned anything, this is just, he's right. General Flynn put this out. All this, quote, Democrat Party stuff, rhetoric, and their efforts to stop Trump at all costs and with all means, for instance, magazines with front cover of Trump-faced Hitler, calling him a felon over and over, and every other name in the book, has, by all accounts, become a wanted dead or alive reward poster against Trump. No wonder we are in the shithole we are in. He didn't say shit. I just felt it needed to be there. If everyone could take a little time and think and then ask yourselves one of 3 questions, or all 3. 1, how can I make a difference? This is totally up my alley, guys. You know this. How can I make a difference? Every one of you. How can I make a difference? Doesn't matter how little it might be. But there needs to be an answer to that question. Many of you are far along down this path. Many of you are, but I'm busy. Are you too busy to have a country for your kids? I get you're trying to run them around in soccer and whatnot, but what's more important? How can I make a difference? 1, 2. How can I make this world better? That's a much tougher question. You get past question 1, how can I make a difference? Question 2 makes a lot of sense. How can I make a difference in a way that I enjoy? That's part of my comfort zone. That's part of the thing I want to explore and become better at. What's an avenue? What's a genre? What's a way that I can actually fulfill this desire within myself? And the third one, what can I do to be of service or in service of something bigger than myself? Now, this is a beautiful point just from the other stuff I've talked about, Law of One and all that. There's service to self and there's service to others. I've mentioned this a lot. I've mentioned it in all my spiritual stuff on the Dan Radio Style channel. All that stuff has been talked about ad nauseum by me. But it is true. Those of us that are service to self are not really going to be around as much. This planet's supposed to be changing from that concept. And that's a lot of what the politicians are. That's a lot of the people that gravitate to those types of jobs are people that are service to self type people. It's an extraordinarily difficult way to graduate as well. But service to others is actually what most of us are. And yes, how can I be in service to help outside of something, like outside of myself? How can I be a bigger part of it's? I think what a lot of parents learn, or even sometimes when you have pets, is I'm not the most important thing in the world, which is annoying for people that are the most important thing in the world. I'm just saying. They don't like that at all. So General Flynn has some great points to bring up. Secretary Mayorkas is just confronted on CNN about claims that he denied Trump's strongest Secret Service protection. I want to hear it. It's 40 seconds. We'll see.
Republican Congressman Mike Walls, he said on social media on Saturday, and I'm going to read this for you because it does talk about you, Secretary. I have very reliable sources telling me that there have been repeated requests for stronger Secret Service protection for President Trump denied by Secretary Mayorkas. Your department has already pushed back on that, calling that absolutely false, but he is putting this on you. Can you respond to that, please?
Well, that's a baseless and irresponsible statement, and is one that is unequivocally false.
I don't know if anything happens, but it's a lot of seconds of the body language. That's right. We're supposed to be looking at his body language. Maybe, right? They might be onto something, but I think the fact that he thinks we need to bring the rhetoric back was one of the things he also brought up in that same discussion. So I don't know if that's maybe in there as well. But I will say that I think he looks a hell lot like this dude. Doesn't he? Isn't that him? I swear to God, that's Mayorkas. That frickin' looks like Mayorkas. I don't know about you guys. Oh, I wish I had a picture. Now I got to pull a picture of him up. Shit. Mayorkas. There it is, AS. Sorry, I'm wasting your time, but all right, here we go. Now we can go back and forth. Mr. Clean is the man. What's a good one? Let's choose that one. Let's go big or go home. What do you guys think? If he smiled, maybe. I mean, I don't know. The white eyebrows. I think it's close. I don't know. You guys talk about clones and stuff. I'm pretty sure he's a clone of Mr. Clean. What do you think? I think he is. You guys can leave a comment below. That's fine. So he's talking about lowering the rhetoric. Bringing the rhetoric down. The rhetoric's the problem right now, causing a lot of angst, causing a lot of people to get angry. What do you say? The body language. Some other thing, I guess. But all of the, and he does say it somewhere, to bring down the body language, the angst, the anger, the vitriol. But what's funny is when you think about where all of that's coming from. It just reminds me of when I was hanging out with my brother, and he was like, it's the people on the right that are violent. It's like, what? And I didn't react like that. I was very calm. I disagreed, wholeheartedly, and started giving examples like Maxine Waters and then Nancy Pelosi, and I'm like, you guys have totally been talking about violence way more, but I didn't get into all the nitty-gritty Antifa. I just didn't. When I look back on it, I'm like, I probably could have chosen other things, but he basically said, well, I strongly disagree. He got up from the table and went upstairs. It's like, I guess this is over. So that's how it played out. So the rhetoric is a funny thing. Now, we've had recently, and this wasn't that long ago, Alex Soros posted, the last year, the crime and inflation crisis largely evaporated. So did the leading theories about what had caused them. So again, they showed the numbers. Now, the numbers was significant too, right? Because it was 47. They've got 10, 10, 20, and 7. So it was 47. They also talked about how some of them showed the numbers. So the ones that actually, I think, were face up versus face down was actually like 17. So there was that going on. There was some very strange fun. Yeah, because the 2 ones are up. The 5 is up and the 10 is up, and the rest of them are upside down or reversed or whatever. So they all thought that was kind of interesting, and they also wondered if Alex Soros was making a threat. Probably was. I'm sure Trump gets threats all the time. Now, what is also interesting, and someone did a bitch and dig on this, and I know I ended up closing all of my browser tabs on accident, except the one. Normally I just close all to the right, and I was on the one, and I was going to close everything to the right, which was just 2 or 3. But instead I hit the one that says close all browser tabs, which, good to know, by the way, doesn't show up in your history. So you can't go to history and just say, hey, reopen up the 57 tabs I just closed down. Nope. So I had to go into history and literally try to open up every screen. So I, 1, missed a couple things that were good. 2, got the order a little screwed up on a couple of these, I'm finding out. Whatever. So I apologize, but yeah, that was a big bummer when that happened. Needless to say, We got to bitch and dig on this. Notably, the shooter's location was outside the security perimeter, raising questions about both the size of the perimeter and the efforts to sweep and secure the American Glass Research Building. That building, it belongs to a company called American Glass Research. So that's like weird. We got glass bullet hole there. And how the shooter was able to obtain rooftop access. We've got some stuff to help with that. Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, Huntington, Ingalls Industries, Leidos, and BAE are all given again, while Honeywell, General Electric, Raytheon, and Booz Allen Hamilton are not giving, according to the most recent filings. What does this have to do with? They were... these guys, all these companies have been donating to many members of Congress. I don't know. This is maybe not the post I thought it was. Yeah, Jesse Waters told it. Okay, so this maybe is part of it. So Jesse Waters told us to dig into the building, so I did. It's owned by AGR, or American Glass Research. They specialized in the manufacturing of various glass products. They were bought out by Indicor in March. Indicor's CEO is Doug Wright, whom used to work for Raytheon and Ingersoll Rand. Raytheon is a former defense contractor with much shadiness attached. He also used to work for Honeywell. Honeywell and Raytheon both refused to donate to anyone voting against certifying Biden on the J6. So that's where he was going with that. Says, I don't think it's a coincidence that Soros' tweet featured a picture of broken glass and the would-be assassin fired from the top of a damn glass factory. Very good dig. I don't know if that was Paul that did that, but that was a damn good dig if it was, especially Paul. So we got Biden. It's time to put Trump in the bullseye. We talked about this, and he took this, he tweeted and deleted this post. This post had been out for a while, but he deleted it. And 5 days after he says this statement, Trump's literally shot. Coincidence? Okay. But now we got a couple of them adding up. That's strange. Also, let's talk about how the left is constantly pushing this. They keep saying that we need to bring the temperature down. We need to simmer down now. But they keep pointing to the MAGA people as the problem, don't they? Every time, every breath they do it. ABC News, Donald Trump's history with Adolf Hitler and his Nazis writings. Washington Post, opinion poll, yes, it's okay to compare Trump to Hitler. Don't let me stop you. AP, Trump says he didn't know his immigration rhetoric echoes Hitler. That's part of a broader pattern. USA Today, did Trump say Hitler did a lot of good things? He was a vegetarian and a painter, so yeah, there was a couple good things he was a part of. He was a shitball for a lot of other things apparently too. And I know there's a whole conspiracy around him, so let's not go off into that direction at the moment. That's kind of a third rail just in general. All said, we aren't the ones that are making the rhetoric.
Tifa and...
Dude, fucking thing sucks sometimes. DC Drano put this out. This sounds like a legitimate threat. Will the FBI investigate? And this is another individual that sounds kind of lefty. His name's Phil Whipple, or at least the name he goes by. Hey, you rednecks. The next shooter isn't going to miss. This was just to get your attention, and I see it worked quite well. By September 1st, that man will be dead, and the half of us in this great nation who understand what a threat he is to democracy will stand and cheer. Unfortunately, there's not even close to half of y'all. But that sounds like a legitimate threat. Do they go after Phil Whipple? We'll see. Senator Hawley put this out. I am now formally demanding a full investigation by the Senate Homeland Security Committee into the massive security failure that resulted in an attempt on the president's life and the murder of innocent Americans. Alejandro Mayorkas needs to testify under oath in public. So we'll see when that happens. He sent the letter. I think they were shooting for next week or something like that, reasonably quick. Something that's very interesting that happened, call it coincidence, call it inspired, but this is what happened with the flag because of the wind. This was at the rally before Trump got shot. The flag was in the shape of, many are saying like an angel. I think it almost looks like Jesus, kind of spread out too. Vitruvian man or whatever, Vitruvian, whatever it is. I don't know. He's just feared. Oh, the heights scare the shit out of me. I mean, I'll get in a plane and stuff. I'm not crazy like that, but like, damn, like, yeah, like just I can freak myself out just imagining looking over a cliff. Like that makes my stomach queasy. Pretty sure I know what it's related to, but all said, yeah, freaks me out. But what's a trip to me is it being above these two cranes, right? Like, holy crap. Like, how are you going to fix that? What are you, just big scissor lift? I mean, shit. That's a little sketch. That's a little scary, that's for sure. Stephen King, being the douchehole that he is, said an AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle was used in the Butler shooting. These are the guns the Republican Party and Trump want to protect. And then Eric Voorhees says, we should probably ban assassination as well. Right? Maybe that should be the thing. Like, not so much the rock or the stick or the gun or whatever, the sword, but actually just the act. Maybe you make the act of killing somebody illegal, and then you sort of accomplish a lot more than just trying to go after, well, stones should be outlawed. Any stone that's greater than, 4 pounds. Elon Musk shared that as well. Kash Patel talked about this or truth this. Anyone in Congress that actually wants to run a serious investigation of oversight to deliver accountability for the American people, give me a call. I'll do it for free. May have a track record there. I bet he does. Vivek Ramaswamy had some powerful words, and again, I love what the dude's saying, and he's pointing out something. I'm not going to spell it out because I don't think it's a good idea to. You're going to have to read between the lines. But he's pointing out something that needs to be understood.
You have a Democrat media that has called a Republican president a tyrant, a dictator, said it would be the end of the United States of America as we know it, said he would make us a laughing stock on the global stage. And those are exact quotes, actually, of what they said about Abraham Lincoln. Saw the Lincoln hat, you might have wanted me to remember that. Those were words that the Democrat-led media said about the first ever Republican president before he was shot and assassinated in 1865. So think about that in the moment that we live in today. We came within, Lincoln actually spoke at this convention. It was at a Republican convention. It was at a state convention, Republican state convention, I think in 1858, when he said a house divided cannot stand. That was on the eve of a nation that was on the brink of civil war.
That's right.
I think we came within a hair's breadth of a second civil war in this country, and we avoided it.
Yes.
And I think it's because God intervened. And I believe that he has given us a chance to answer his call.
Amen.
I think when people talk about this being a movie, this is where, I think God has created the movie for us. And this is our chance before graduation to make sure we take the test, that we're involved. One of the largest things ever to happen in this world. There's a way to get involved. There's everybody, no matter who you are, no matter how old, whether you're disabled or not, there is a way. There's always a way, always. What they say is where there's a will, there's a way. The question is do we have the will? And I think that has probably changed a great deal. All right, so the couple victims, this is kind of, it's good, bad, sad. It's so many things. It's all sorts of things. But like when you respond well to bad situations, in my opinion, that's like a good thing, right? Like, so all said, here is Governor Shapiro talking about the gentleman, the fireman that lost his life.
It's also important to note that last night, 3 of our fellow Pennsylvanians were shot, 1 fatally, 2 in critical condition. I've just spent time speaking to the families, and I want to offer my prayers and the prayers of all 13 million Pennsylvanians for the 2 individuals who are being treated at this time. We lost a fellow Pennsylvanian last night, Corey Conspiratorial. I just spoke to Corey's wife and Corey's 2 daughters. Corey was a girl dad. Corey was a firefighter. Corey went to church every Sunday. Corey loved his community. And most especially, Corey loved his family. Corey was an avid supporter of the former president and was so excited to be there last night with him in the community. I asked Corey's wife if it would be okay for me to share that we spoke. She said yes. She also asked that I share with all of you that Corey died a hero, that Corey dove on his family to protect them last night at this rally. Corey was the very best of us. May his memory be a blessing.
Yeah, I mean, that's just beautiful. It's beautiful. When you look back on this life, you want to make sure you did everything you could, don't you? This is the time to get motivated. This is the time to do something different. Commonwealth of Virginia, Youngkin, the governor over there, he ordered flags lowered today in memory of Corey Conspiratorial's, in memory of him. That was nice. He was a Pennsylvanian, but another state too, just to show solidarity, which is weird. Just might sort of actually be bringing us back together. Powerful. Let's get into the shooter and what's going on, and then we got the Secret Service coming up too. The FBI says it's investigating whether Trump rally shooting as an attempted assassination and also an act of domestic terrorism. So the gunman was not previously on the radar screen. He just wasn't, you know. He bought 50 rounds of ammo the day of that he actually went and performed the shooting, which isn't that many. He obviously had to have practiced with far more than that. But he had just 50 rounds. He wasn't planning on going that far. He probably didn't figure he'd get too far away, or I don't know what he was thinking in his mind. I don't know how MK Ultra people think. This was put out. The FBI says it had no records of prior tips about Crooks or encounters with him by the law enforcement. And at this point in the investigation, it appears that he was a lone actor, but we still have more investigations to go, says Robert Wells, head of the FBI Counterterrorism Division. Crooks had no prior contact with Ellie. His phone was sent to Quantico. A suspicious device was in his car, perhaps misreported as an explosive. We don't know for sure. An AR-556 rifle was used, and no indication of mental health issues. That's kind of interesting. Makes you wonder. Catherine Herridge posted this. As the investigation moves forward, standard operating procedure is full forensic scrub of suspect's digital exhaust by lead agencies. Just all the crap he does, all the places he goes. That's his outputting, if you will, from the digital side of the world. That's why they call it exhaust. It's just a weird term, but it is what it is. Phones, texts, emails, computers, social media, security cameras near the rally, etc. The data builds the all-important timeline to determine if indicators of suspicious activity were missed, as well as potential evidence of premeditation, reconnaissance of the rally site, surrounding building, and possible motive. This process should be well advanced in its early stage. We'll see. FBI focus is on gaining access to the shooter's phone. Like we said, it's been sent out to Quantico. We'll see whatever comes back from that. Now, some of the Secret Service stuff is concerning, to say the least. One thing, though, that is interesting about this that I didn't really think in it, like seeing this article, I brought it up because it was a good talking point. Trump's rally shooting upends Democrats' Biden crisis. This just might have made it really hard. Okay, so we talk about distractions, right? This is now a distraction on the left. And they're not focusing on Biden. And by them not focusing on Biden, that's going to allow Biden to continue on down this path. And by Biden continuing on down this path, he's going to continue to gaffe, continue to make mistakes, and continue to do other things. And it's going to become too late to do anything about it. So this Trump thing is also screwing the deep state in regards to swapping out Biden. They'll have to blatantly change the law or something. Or this might be how they try to say, well, we'll have to postpone the election. We'll see what crazy stuff they do. I don't know if it actually says in the Constitution. Does it say what day it should fall? I know swearing in's kind of weirdly spelled out, and I was wondering about Election Day as well. But I know we've typically always done it on the first Tuesday of November? Is that what it is? Something that, I'm a conspiracy guy with everybody, and there's times where this is kind of conspiratorial, I should say. But when I look at it, I'm like, damn, these dudes look similar. The ears look very similar, but most importantly, it's the mouth gesture. I think that really gets me. The nose looks similar. The way the glasses are worn looks similar. The hair looks close enough. This totally looks like this dude. And this dude was up on stage with Trump. And we remember him from one of the rallies. I forget which one it was. But he was maybe in there trying to make sure, I don't know, maybe he's a good guy. He also jumps out as someone that was obviously paying attention. None of these knuckleheads had any, well, this guy maybe, but these people weren't really aware of the filming. This dude totally was. And that would fit for Secret Service too. You would be hyper aware of things like that. And some people, just staring at them will cause them to turn around. It's a fun little game I like to play. I've done that numerous times. So I don't know. Who knows? CanCon put this out. I don't think people understand how absolutely incredibly impossible it would be for a 20-year-old raggedy-looking dude to get on the first rooftop closest to Trump, just over a football field away, with an AR-15 and crawl to a shooting position and take almost a dozen shots before being neutralized. I feel like there's a little hyperbole. Was it 12 shots, really? I thought it was like 5, 6, 7, whatever. Doesn't matter. There is literally a better chance at me winning the lotto this weekend, and I haven't even bought a ticket. Doesn't mean you won't. But the point is not lost. He's probably right. Secret Service is blaming local police, says it was tasked with securing properties surrounding Trump's PA rally. Okay, but there's a couple problems with that. One, you guys totally should have caught it. Two, you guys were on the rooftop, and there's a story there, so calm down for any of you that are like, Dan, did you see that? Yeah, I saw it. Don't send it to me yet. Someone did, but it ended up popping up in my normal feed, so it worked out well. He kind of sent it in an email. It was a hard way to share it. Secret Service is blaming this, right, on the local police right now. But here's one thing that's we're seeing. The building where the gunman Thomas Crooks scrambled onto the roof and opened fire, this is local police tactical team was watching over the crowd. 2 law enforcement officials say, I think this is a video, isn't it? Is this the one I'm thinking of? Or did I open up one of the wrong things? Yeah, I opened. Building was found. Officer staging. Okay, so the building where the shooter was on, that's what this is about. The building where the shooter was on was the staging area for the local police. So that's concerning. It literally was the staging area location for the police. He climbed on top of that building, so local police probably have something to say about that. I don't have the thing that shows. There it is. Let's move that. That should be over here. This is another weird question that someone brought up. $1 million question for that matter. Did the shooter bring the ladder or was it left there by the building owners? There was a big old ladder. He's dead over here. He obviously got up here. Was this ladder one of those ladders that are built into the side for roof maintenance? Though typically those, you pop out the top. I don't know if there's any, I don't see any places. Looks like he set down some stuff. So I don't see any necessarily holes on the roof. Typically there would be some sort of pop-up if it was an internal ladder. So maybe an external ladder to be able to do maintenance, whatever the case is. Don't know how that got there or how they weren't paying attention to it, how they weren't monitoring it. I don't know, at least put a camera on it or something. Trail cam for crying out loud. So I don't know, kind of strange. The fact that it's hidden behind the bushes the way it is weird too. So how did that happen? At the staging building for the cops. How did Secret Service miss it? This was put up probably the day before. So senior Secret Service source, which one is this? Is this the Secret Service source familiar with planning of yesterday's Trump rally tells NBC News the roof where the shooter was located was a well-known high-priority vulnerability spot. Of course it was. It was one of the high points and everywhere. Anyway,
new information for you. A senior Secret Service source familiar with the planning of yesterday's event tells NBC News that the roof where the shooter was located was a well-known high-priority vulnerability. It was identified just the day before during a security walkthrough. We've also just learned that there were 2 counter-sniper teams on site and that the counter-sniper did not need approval to shoot. One source telling NBC News that prior protocols were not followed. The FBI now says the alleged shooter, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, appears to have acted alone. This all provides new context for the shocking scene last night in Butler, Pennsylvania, already burned into our collective conscience.
It was important for them to make that point, even though it's ABC and I don't actually believe it. I believe they're saying that prior procedures weren't followed because it seems prior procedures were followed and someone has spilled the beans. It sounds very much, and we don't know for sure. We don't know for sure. We'll get there, I guess. I'm sorry. Yeah, like I said, this is set up so differently from what I originally had it. So anyway, here is more footage of them literally seeing the dude walking on the roof. Let's just talk about how much time likely the snipers had to shoot this dude.
He was doing the job. I wouldn't even be doing this. I'd be at some beautiful place with the gorgeous ocean.
Look, they're all pointing.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look. There he is right there. Right there, see him? He's laying down. See him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
And Scott, I'm here with you fighting cartel to get a Senate.
What's happening?
And to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look. There he is.
Easy, because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people. Criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here.
Right on the roof.
It's much tougher than it happens.
You went right on the roof, big guy.
Yeah, and then the dude moves in further, so he goes down. It's weird. I don't know if he was looking for the opportune time or if he was looking for, like there was a certain time where he was supposed to do it. It's very strange how he was waiting. Like he seemed like he should have just went ahead and, put the rifle down and, got the sights in. And why did he wait? I don't even know. So that's a big question that's out there. Another one, and I thought I had it. Oh, please be here. There it is. It should be over here, I think. I feel like it belongs here right now. Or at least I want to talk about it now. So, not 100% sure whether this is true or not. It was posted on 4chan. This is the guy supposedly on the roof, right? This dude here. Supposedly this dude is the guy saying this. And don't know. I didn't follow the orders, though. As soon as the shooter opened on Trump, I returned fire despite strict orders to not engage. I had eyes on the shooter for 3 minutes watching him fiddle with his rifle and adjust the scope. It was obvious he was a shooter, yet I wasn't allowed to engage. After I killed the shooter, I was arrested, questioned by the FBI, and just released an hour ago. Already lost my job for not following orders, but I'm glad I took the shot anyway. If there's even a smidgen of truth to that, this was an inside job. This was going to be allowed, much like Mayorkas is allowing millions of people to flood into this country, much like they're allowing fentanyl and everything else, much like they're trafficking children, much like they're trafficking sex workers. They did this. Maybe the deep state might have done this. Now, I know Jordan Sather shared this, and he says his bullshit meter's going off. I don't know. He might be right. Mine's not. I usually agree with a lot of things Jordan says. Don't know. I don't know. This feels like it could be true, especially when you start to couple all these other things. Here's Dan Bongino talking with Jesse Waters.
Former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino joins me now. Is this gross incompetence, or is it something even more scary that we can't even think about?
No, it's gross incompetence. I mean, how do you think about it, right? The counter sniper team, they train out, the Secret Service counter sniper team, obviously there to mitigate a sniper threat. They train out to 1,000 yards. So we're talking about, say it was 200 yards. It was actually less than that where this shooter was, right? You're talking about a fraction of what they're trained at. They're also trained to spot guys in ghillie suits, cracked open windows.
Right.
He's on a white roof in broad daylight.
He's on a white roof.
No, again, it'd be easy for me to say, oh, well, let's not get into Monday morning quarterbacking. Bro, it's not a freaking football game. It's the President of the United States' life. The Secret Service has one job. Well, outside of counterfeiting and protection, it is one job. You keep the body alive no matter what. They came within a millimeter of this guy losing his life. I don't understand some of the commentary that's, they did a great job. Well, the body guys, that response was, brave. They ran up there. They didn't know there could have been 10 more shooters.
Right.
No doubt. No, those guys, pretty heroic what happened there. But the security failure in the perimeter is a complete, total debacle. No one should defend this.
So when you have guys, we just played the sound, when you have fans saying, hey, there's a guy with a gun over there to multiple law enforcement guys, and they still are just looking around like this and no one. How does that happen?
Well, I'll tell you. I'm getting from a number of sources that people are feeding to me their information, obviously, because they want to fix it. They're concerned, and I think you're going to see a lot of whistleblowers. I'm hearing there were very, very few. I don't want to give an exact number, but very few actual, I don't think anyone else has reported this, actual Secret Service poststanders at that site. That they were temp HSI,
right.
Homeland Security folks, they're great folks. I'm not knocking them, but that's not what they do specifically. We do protection, and we're trained for that. So I'm hearing that. I'm also hearing that the counter sniper team, that they had a problem seeing over the elevation. That's why I didn't engage right away.
Oh, come on.
But that's not the problem. The problem, well, it's the problem, but that's not the real. The problem is Where the hell was the aerial visual support? Why was there no helicopter? Why was there no drone? Why was there no FLIR? Why was there no thermal, forward-looking infrared? How the hell is the crowd acting as the freaking counter-surveillance operation?
I know, if that's the best asset you have is random Trump supporters telling police that there's a guy with a gun, what technology are they deploying? They're bragging about they have all this new technology. I didn't see it. Tell me about when they rush him over to the van, I guess, the vehicle. It seemed like some of the Secret Service agents, I just don't know if they had the stature that I would expect to see and the gravitas that I would expect to see protecting the former president.
Well, the rule is maximum to the protectee, minimum to the problem, right? Because you don't know how many problems there are. So if you try to rush to one problem, like the Malcolm X shooting, and there's another problem over there, you're going to wind up getting dead quick. So they did the right thing by rushing to the protectee. On the evac out, yeah, you do see a couple of agents. One couldn't reholster the weapon and things like this. So, yeah, there were some definite.
And the other one was like 5'4".
Yeah, I mean, you're going to find out in the coming weeks that the physical fitness standards for men and women are different. That's weird because the protectee's weight and height doesn't change for a man or a woman.
Does Cheadle get fired anytime soon?
She needs to go immediately. She has disgraced the Secret Service multiple times. She needs to go. She needs to be fired ASAP, but Mayorkas doesn't have the cojones to do it.
Biden should do it. Leapfrog Mayorkas and terminate her.
Zero chance.
She's got to go. Well, he never fired
anybody over anything. He doesn't even know who the Secret Service director is. There's zero chance. Like, he fires her. No way.
All right. Dan Bongino, thanks so much for coming on Jesse Waters Prime Time. Keep talking to your sources.
Yeah,
all right.
So, yeah, a lot of information coming out there, right? It very much sounds like, well, John F. Kennedy, for example, they changed the route. Day of, right before, they changed the route. The people that were actually assigned to him, there was questions around some of them. Interesting how things play out sometimes when the deep state gets involved. They are able to do and change all sorts of things. Here's Bill Barr talking to Jesse Waters as well. Pretty good segment.
You were the Attorney General twice. They're launching this investigation. The FBI is in charge. Do you trust this FBI to do a clean investigation?
I think they should be given the chance to do the investigation, but I think Congress will be watching every step and do their own investigation. And I think there's a lot to investigate. I think those Secret Service agents on the detail, there's no question in my mind that they're loyal and brave and that they would take a bullet for President Trump. But there was obvious screw-ups there that have to be looked at carefully. And then I agree with your guest, Corey, that I think not only in the Secret Service but in other law enforcement agencies, this DEI agenda and the destruction of meritocracy is affecting the competence levels of these agencies.
And quickly, would you fire the Secret Service Director, Cheadle?
I would fire her simply for having a tin ear and not coming out and being visible and saying something. Even if we don't know the story, I think it's still important to start the discussion and the transparency with the American people. And the way they handled today, by trying to just brief Milwaukee and not saying anything about it, was so ham-handed that I would fire her just for not understanding how the responsibility of government officials to interact with the public.
All right, I would too. Mr. Attorney General, thank you so much.
I mean, yeah. So we are getting some pretty strong words from people. We'll see where things get us. Secret Service Director is going to appear for a public hearing next week in the House, so we'll see how that goes. Wall Street Apes put this out. Whoa, listen to this. Secret Service Director Kim Cheadle. She has close ties to the Cheneys, the Bidens, and is responsible for the J6 deleted text scandal. She, quote, evacuated Vice President Dick Cheney on 9/11. You cannot tell me this wasn't an inside job. She would know. The 28-year veteran was on the team that evacuated Vice President Dick Cheney on 9/11, and she served on then Vice President Biden's protective detail. He named her director in mid-2022. New election, amid a swirl of controversy, agencies deleting nearly all of its text messages from January 6th. The agency says that was due to a data migration. Systems migrations happen, but I think for a lot of Americans, it just doesn't pass the smell test, given the timing and the volume of messages deleted. And the fact that whenever you do data migrations, you migrate the data and you make sure it passes the same number of bytes there and back. It's like common. Well, it's unfortunate that would be the assumption that people would make. Our integrity is everything, and there was nothing nefarious attached to that, is what they're claiming, right? But it sounds like she has some very interesting ties. Now, here's former Army sniper And Congressman Corey Mills, he's got something to say about all this, too.
Let's bring in Florida Congressman and former U.S. Army sniper, Corey Mills. What kind of shot was this, Corey, from 130 yards?
Look, at the end of the day, this is a shot that your basic training boot camp soldier is requested to make within their 9-week period. This is one of the easiest shots, and they train all the way out till 300 or 500. And when I was doing the counter sniper, it wasn't with the United States Army. It was actually when I was with the State Department and was doing this exact thing, which is trying to look at going out with an advanced team, establishing what the perimeter is. And then as a sniper, when you would set up, you'd put together your range sketch or your range fan cards. And that would tell you where your 100, your 200, your 300, and you'd identify the areas of threat that you would be able to mitigate. And if there's multiple targets, you understand that your elevation and windage knob wouldn't have to be messed with, especially at 160 yards. You could literally just look, quickly glance, and know from the reference point whether it be a building, whether it be a lone tree, whether it be a parking lot, maybe it's a road. Bottom line is that this is massive negligence to the point of me speculating on what was intentional and what wasn't.
Wow. When you're doing a site survey and you're seeing this rooftop not that far away, why did it look like the counter sniper team was a little surprised?
You know, I can only speculate, and we'll have to wait until the investigation comes out, that they thought local law enforcement was potentially climbing up onto the roof when they saw a dark object on a light roof. But here's the issue.
Wait, you're saying maybe they misconstrued crooks for local law enforcement?
It's very possible. I don't want to speculate until the investigation is over, but the bottom line is that if you saw someone climbing onto a roof that you hadn't authorized any clearance on, it's got a clear line of sight. It's exactly adjacent to the shooting where the president was sitting, and you're talking about a pop shot, and you've got people yelling, and there should have been comms. The minute that local law enforcement, who apparently had a rifle pointed on, there should have been an emergency frequent comms channel that they could have said, we have a shooter on the roof, shooter on the roof. Secret Service should have rushed the stage and immediately took the president and took him off, and then responded to the counter sniper. The shot should not have gone off. That is the failure in itself. You're supposed to be able to try, the best security is when you go in and you're actually able to prevent an incident, not react to an incident. Even if you would have left a law enforcement officer's patrol car in that parking lot with the lights on, that could have been a deterrent. But when you have nothing that is actually showing force protection, you're encouraging this. Look, I'm not sure about who the individuals are on the individual detail Secret Service, but I can tell you under this Biden administration, the one thing I've seen is massive DEI hires. And I can tell you, when you primarily go after DEI, you end up with DIE.
So when you have these counter snipers waiting until 8 rounds are fired, what accounts for that? After the first shot, you get a return fire immediately?
The minute that a shot rang out, they should have already been on scope. Your spotter should have already called the distance if you hadn't looked at your range card, and you should have immediately engaged. Okay. There should have been no reason to have waited a single second. Now, I talked to Eric Trump after the incident. Eric and I are both gun enthusiasts. We both shoot long distance. That right there is a pop shot. But he did say, I've gone out with the CS teams, and they are one of the best. He knows the service detail that's with them. They are loyal individuals who actually do care about the president. I can say that was relayed to me. But the bottom line is this is a massive security breach. This is a huge failure. At negligence is at best, but we have to figure out why something within 200 yards. Think about this, Jesse, 200 yards. That means that an average rifle that holds 1 minute of angle would hold a 2-inch grouping if you just shot it straight off the deck, meaning on a platform. So now you're talking about 160, which is 1.6 inches is what its grouping capabilities are. The average head is what? 6x8, shoulder to shoulder is 20 inches, head to waist is 40 inches, and President Trump's a very large man. This is a shot that within 5 minutes I could teach you to make 9 out of 10 times. So this is divine intervention. This is the God having his protective hand and wearing Ephesians 6, the armor of God over the president, because this right here, a millisecond or a millimeter and change, and this isn't an attempted assassination. This is an assassination of a president.
Yeah. The devil was in Butler, Pennsylvania, but so was God.
Well, and I can say one more thing, if I may, which is that let us also remember that King Henry II went in and said, can no one rid me of this turbulent priest? And his knights went out and killed the Archbishop of Canterbury because they thought that was a direct order. What do you say when President Biden says it's time to put a target on Trump? That, in my opinion, is the insightful rhetoric. That's the stuff that they would have went after for the J6 stuff. So why don't we have our own J13 investigation?
Yeah, there needs to be a full investigation on this, absolutely. And it needs to not be crooked like some of these other former investigations were.
That's right.
Politicians. Mills, you're the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if you guys caught the part, too, and I doubt I can find it.
Incident.
But the girl was holding up the sign, "You're fired," right when the shots rang. Yeah. Joe Biden, you're fired. I'm not saying she was tied in, but it's very interesting that they were suddenly holding up the "you're fired" signs right within the scope, I would think. I don't know. Scope maybe zoomed in really hard, but he wasn't that far away. I don't know. Just funny coincidence, I guess. Let's call it that. You're fired, and suddenly the dude fired the weapon. That was exact timing of it.
For them, they are loyal individuals who actually do care.
Like, it was right then. It's kind of strange. Donald Trump, truth this out. In light of what's going on in the world today, I believe it's imperative that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. receive Secret Service protection immediately. Given the history of the Kennedy family, this is the obvious right thing to do. There's someone that actually thinks he's going to choose him for vice president. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. Hey, this guy, I keep forgetting to turn my damn camera on. What is up? This is an amazing product. I just wanted to cover some of the reviews. I've talked a lot about it. This, of course, is danradiostyle.petclub247.com. Incredible products that will help keep your pet alive longer. There's been a lot of research that's been done, over 400 studies. Some research that said, they just kind of spell it out here on the site to make it easy, but give your pet Coriolis versicolor mushrooms. These actually help. They help make them safer. Cats, dogs, horses. Are the manufactured pet foods we are buying, are they good for our babies? And frankly, a lot of them aren't. Now, if you are getting good foods already for your babies, and you want to make sure to add some of this mushroom anyway, they have the little pour spouts. They have little spouts that you can pour on top of that dry food, and they're just going to think it's better. You're making it dry food wet, and you're just going to make it healthier for them, so they're going to eat all that good stuff. What about pet toys? I've said before, they make a lot of them in China. They've got chemicals, lead, all sorts of crazy things. These are not good for your dogs. They actually have pet toys that are made from like antler sticks and stuff like that. Literally, as the dog's chewing and grinding on the toy, they're actually getting minerals in their bodies that's good for them. Yeah, catch 22 on that one, right? They're actually helping with their teeth and chewing on something they love to chew, and it's a stick, so they love that. Coriolis versicolor, can we give it to humans? Yes, we can. There's studies. Harnessing the power, benefits of mushrooms, there's a whole bunch. Whole bunch. Got a lot of reviews, too. A lot of people have talked about how someone's talking about the caffeinated coffee. No way. I just love this caffeinated coffee. It's very smooth and does not leave an aftertaste. It's organic and has those wonderful healing mushrooms, but you do not taste the mushrooms. I recommend this coffee to everyone. They also make a decaffeinated coffee. That's freaking awesome. Kathy M., thank you. That's powerful stuff. I haven't tried the coffee yet. I have to make a whole pot, basically. Maggie, a 7-year-old American bulldog, was having seizures and developing kidney problems, but she's feeling better after enjoying the mush puppies. Mush puppies are one of the things we sell. We'll get there in a second. Bonnie is a 3-year-old Rottweiler that has had a sore on her eye that would not go away until she tried the mush puppies. Scout, 11-year-old Scout, is feeling better than ever because of the mush puppies. Bubba, after losing Titus to cancer, Buzz and Renee wanted to make sure that they were treating Bubba better. They're happy Bubba has been doing so well on the Sequoia pet food, mush puppies, and Bucky Bites. He is enjoying his Pet Club 247 antler split toy as well. They got everything. So what are we talking about? Let's look at the dog stuff first, since that's what a lot of these people are chatting about. Mush puppies are like a treat, but it's got that Coriolis versicolor mushroom, and they're not that expensive. They're inexpensive, actually. They are a great buy. If you just want to give some of that to your dog and get it in their system on a regular basis, Mush Puppies is the easy way to do that, and people are seeing benefits from it. They've got a slightly enhanced version of it, but again, not necessary. They got the Mojos, which are another kind of treat that's got that Mush Puppy in there. This is more of like a meat one, hand-cut beef liver that's got some of that the mushroom in there. Here's the Sequoia freeze-dried food we were talking about. Here's the super sauce. They make this for dogs and cats. Right? It's just like those little baby juices, right? You just pour that right on top of their food, and they're going to get that mushroom. So you got 3 pouches, 3.5 ounces each for like $28. It's not that bad considering. You don't have to give them every day if you don't want. I don't know. I take the mushrooms every day, and in fact, I take enough to kind of be like a healthy, proper dosage daily because I think it's good for me. And I've actually noticed I'm sleeping better, and I'm also remembering my dreams, which is kind of tripping me out a little bit. So they've got a few different kinds of pet food. They've got the pet food in a can, so you got the wet food too. They got the dog biscuits. They've also got the mutt mints. They got that breath thing going on. And here's those antler sticks I was telling you about, right? Actual toys that are healthy, not deadly. Cats, the same thing. They've got your little catnip stuff. They've got your Sequoia pet food. They've also got the pouches, because I know cats are very finicky. But I bet you if you put that stuff on there, your cat's going to love it. Cats and dogs respond well to it. And horses as well. They got mush ponies. They're horse cakes with the Coriolis versicolor mushroom. You got an older horse that you just love and she's been with you forever, and you want to kind of help her stay around longer, you probably want to get some of these products. You can get them in different varieties and different amounts. Like you've got a lot of horses. There's obviously a bigger amount you can buy. So again, great products, and they've got them for humans as well. And there's that coffee we were talking about. They've got the gummies, which I've tried. They're actually surprising. Like you don't taste the mushroom in it at all. The gummies are yummy. You just eat them, and life's good. But typically I've been taking the pills. It's just easier. I swallow them, right? But that's that Enforce is what I've been taking. It's got the extra reishi mushrooms in it. So huge, awesome products that are going to keep you healthy, keep you alive, and help keep your animals around you longer and make sure they're healthy. Go to danradiostyle.petclub247.com. danradiostyle.petclub247.com. Make sure we keep them little buggers around with us because we'll miss them. We miss them when they go, that's for sure. A lot happening with the RNC. Secret Service says there's no changes to the RNC security plan. There was a lot of questions being asked, but I think it's indoors. But I'm sure they're screening the hell out of everybody, and hopefully Secret Service is actually more involved per what Dan Bongino was saying about that last place. ABC News says pre-planned group of 1,700 National Guardsmen and other troops are supporting the RNC security right now. We know there's a lot of protesters, but they're not allowed down too terribly close. We'll see again what happens. This is all happening tonight. I'm actually kind of looking forward. I'll be watching it probably. Team Trump is looking forward to a week ahead with 2024 GOP National Convention here in Milwaukee. For all of us on Team Trump, the past 36 hours has been the most surreal of our lifetime. While we process and what took place together, we are all more resilient to win the 2024 presidential election and send President Donald J. Trump back to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. There is no doubt President real Donald Trump was made for this moment. We will never witness someone like him again in our lifetime. He is a courageous leader who will never back down while fighting each and every day for you, the American people. The time has come to put America first and make America great again. On behalf of Team Trump, thank you for your prayers and support for President Trump, his amazing family, and all of us who represent or work at Team Trump. We are forever grateful. It's very beautiful. So this is one of his first interviews since yesterday's shooting. Trump told the Washington Examiner he is rewriting the speech. There's some efforts. I don't think he liked his language that he was originally going with. I don't know if they describe it in this story, but we'll keep it at that. But he rewrote it, and I think we even have a post of his suggesting that. But here's Trump landing.
100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Brakes are up. You got 2 in reverse.
I love that flying stuff. It's so much fun. So here's Trump walking off the plane. Shot Trump, I should say. So yeah, he's alive and well. He showed up in Wisconsin today. There was discussions that he was going to maybe wait a couple days. Nope, he's going out today. He didn't want to let anything change that. Kind of interesting. Newswire posted this. Senator Marco Rubio from Florida has been told he will not be Trump's running mate, sources say. Again, we don't know for sure. Also, according to the reports surfacing over the last few minutes, Marco Rubio, Doug Burgum, is that Burgum or Brookwan? I think it's Burgum. Anyway, and RFK Jr. are not on the list. The idea that RFK Jr. would have been chosen is just asinine. One of the people. It's one of the reasons why I can't look at the dude's stuff ever and take it serious, because he says crazy shit like that all the time. It's like, what? Are you even watching the same movie? How the hell did you come to that conclusion? Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio was seen leaving his home with protective motorcade as reports increasingly suggest he is Trump's vice presidential pick. Maybe, but Trump says that they haven't really been talking about the guy. They said that to Brett Burr. So I don't know. J.D. Vance has kind of been talked about a little bit. I feel like, I don't know. We'll see. I already said, I feel like Ben hasn't been talked about as much. He's come up like once or twice, and that's almost how it should be. It's interesting. There's Brett Burr talking about something stupid.
He did confirm that he's going to make a VP choice today.
Okay, I guess that's what it was then. All said. Kate Sullivan said 50 Cent is in talks with convention officials. He wants to appear in Milwaukee. That's pretty powerful. All right, got some Trump stuff to share here. I know we're a little long, sorry. Breaking: Judge Cannon has dismissed the Trump documents case, citing violations of the appointment clause. The fact that Jack Smith's not legally appointed, she literally said this is dismissed. She dismissed the documents case. Judge Cannon did. Here's a attempt to get a comment from Jack Smith. Didn't go well. Spoiler alert.
Special counsel, do you plan to make a statement soon to us? Can we expect to hear from you today on the docs case, sir?
3 security guards. Damn, dude. Yeah, people hate your ass, don't they? 3 security guards. Oof. Also finding out, Court of Appeals has taken up Trump's team's case against DA Alvin Bragg and Judge Merchan. Apparently, the Court of Appeals has taken up both cases. Not sure how they're going to rule. They're in crazy places. But it just is one step closer to getting it to the Supreme Court if that's where it needs to end up. General Mike Flynn posted this. Given the recent decision by Judge Cannon regarding Prosecutor Jack Smith's classified documents case, the following can now be stated. 1. A filed whistleblower complaint has Smith and other members close to him inside the DOJ under serious investigation by the DOJ OIG. Yes, there are some good guys, but we'll see. 2. Deposed witnesses, part of the WB complaint, have been offered massive bribes to back off their statements by apparently Americans to be named later. The bribes are north of $25 million. Yes, you heard that right. 3. I am told Judge Cannon had either requested or received a copy of this whistleblower complaint. I have zero idea if she actually received it or read it, but this is some of the information I've been made aware of. 4. This has been an ongoing investigation for well over a year now, led by very credible investigators, and the public whistleblower complaint was posted back in DEC. Go find it. 5. This has been pressed very hard thanks to Patrick Byrne. Without his patience and support, the investigation and the legal and very public filings would not have occurred. 6. Be prepared for more on this very serious case, which stands in history to be one of the most egregious abuses of authority within the Department of Justice. If the truth plays out here, the second and third order effect could very well prove to be stunning to America's national security. And 7, the media hasn't covered one iota of this. No surprise. For America to move forward, the rot must be removed and the corruption must be publicly called out and eliminated. Amen. Kash Patel put this out. Trump classified document case dismissal. This case exemplifies the degradation of our Constitution by decades of DOJ malfeasance, layered incessantly atop another, to create judicial scripture rather than law. Yet again, the DOJ cited long-standing principles and traditions to justify the appointment of Jack Smith, unilaterally disregarding congressional mandates for this subject. How can a country govern when the institution placed in charge of enforcing our Constitution continues to make up legal practices via fiat and call it well settled? How many times have you heard this from the DOJ, only for them to break their own long-standing principles for weaponized purposes? They have no credibility, and it is entirely of their own making. Only through a real Donald Trump continued quest to restore the rule of law did the Constitution achieve this victory today. May there be many more for our rule of law in the time to come. Schumer said, this is misguided, this dismissal of Trump's classified docs case. It must be appealed, he is saying. And of course they will, I'm sure. It needs to go to the Supreme Court as well, but Judge Cannon's right, and that's what needs to be heard. Is it required? It's been a long-standing practice to have Congress choose these people, and they have to have been voted in and selected, versus someone that was just appointed that's never gone through that process, that vetting process at all. Doesn't answer to anybody, supposedly. Right? Independent counsel doesn't have to answer to Merrick Garland, yet he doesn't answer to Congress. Who's he supposed to answer to? So Schumer wants to, of course, dig into that. Well, that's fine. Whatever. It's all going to happen. Donald J. Trump, as we move forward in uniting our nation after the horrific events on Saturday, this dismissal of the lawless indictment in Florida should be just the first step, followed quickly by the dismissal of all the witch hunts. The January 6th hoax in Washington, D.C., the Manhattan DA's zombie case, the New York AG scam, fake claims about a woman I never met, a decades-old photo in a line with her then-husband does not count, and the Georgia Perfect phone call charges. The Democrat Justice Department coordinated all of these political attacks, which are an election interference conspiracy against Joe Biden's political opponent, me. Let us come together and end all weaponization of our justice system and make America great again, which some people seem to be not fond of. Finally, U.S. health officials confirms 4 new bird flu cases in Colorado. Colorado poultry workers, if you're actually a farmer in Colorado that's somehow a patriot, do not let that stupid state board onto your site. They're going to find COVID. Trust me. That's what they're hoping to find so they can scare people. But they're doing it. Numbers are small still. We'll see what happens. This could very well be the thing they use right before the election as a major outbreak to stop things. We'll see. We'll see. They can easily scare enough people into getting vaccines, folks. And if they go out and get the vaccines, you know what happens. So let's not get too confident on that, but that's why I frequently talk about making sure you guys go to twc.health/OTF, right? The wellness company. Make sure you got that contagion kit for sure. Or if not, that medical kit's awesome. But yeah, twc.health/OTF. All said, things are happening. They're happening quickly. And we've got investigations happening all over the place. And it sounds like there's even some investigations that are winding down that are actually proving to be successful. So I think we've got more to celebrate than we necessarily realize. And they majorly tried to take Trump down and failed at that. We seem to be making huge strides. We're going to continue to work together, shoulder to shoulder. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.